Hi there, this is Datila, and welcome to the TNAIW GoGo Power Rankings show. As always, I'm joined by my two co-hosts. First, to my right, he allegedly has no relation to our Impact World Champion, Steve Macklin. He's a star of the show, the one and only Burt Macklin.
How's it going? Thank you always for that intro. How's it going?
Of course.
Say his name
and
he appears.
I believe in Burt Macklin.
Okay, I like that. That's good.
And to my left, he is the godfather of the Power Rankings, the one and only Lucha. Alrighty, so you guys, we are experiencing the fallout, the continued fallout from Under Siege, and I must say, what a show. And I would be very curious to see if Subculture made the Power Rankings, because even though they lost, they were all over the show. Burt,
That's facts.
who do you guys expect to see on this week's Power Rankings?
Well, I'm going to go with the safe money, and I'm going to say the Machine Guns just because they've kind of been on a roll lately. So that's who I would go with.
Good choice. Lucha?
There's only one reason why I want to see if this person makes the Power Rankings this week. And that reason is because he got disrespected and left off last week's Power Rankings due to an error by the BCS committee. So I want to see if the wrong was righted and the national treasure, Nick Aldis, is on this week's Power Rankings. Because I think someone owes somebody an apology while I turn my fan off.
I want to apologize to Nick Aldis. He actually did make last week's Power Rankings. See, this is why I'm just a host and not the number person, because I made an error, a mathematical error, which left Nick Aldis off the Power Rankings. So I do apologize to him, but again, this is why I'm just a host, okay? You can't fault a girl for having to do the Power Rankings the first time ever.
It's okay.
You know, everybody gets one.
Right. It won't happen again. Alrighty. So let's get into it. Let's play these Power Rankings. Number 10, Eddie Edwards. Number 9, X Division Champion Trey Miguel. Number 8, Nick Aldis. Number 7, the undefeated Jody Threat. Number 6, Callahan and Christ OVE. Number 5, Subculture. Number 4, World Champion Diana Perazzo. Number 3, Trinity. Number 2, World Champion Steve Macklin. Number 1, the Motor City Machine Guns. Wow. Okay. Well, let's start with this one, because I did owe him an apology. Number 8, Nick Aldis. It's interesting because when I went back and I did the math, Nick Aldis was originally supposed to be 7 last week on last week's Power Rankings, and this week is number 8. Now, last week was understandable because he beat Kenny King King in the opening of Under Siege, and this week all Homeboy did was cut a promo. So, is that why you think he made number 8 on this week's Power Rankings? I'll start with you, Lucha.
That's exactly why he made number 8 on this week's Power Rankings, because that's what he does. That's been his game since day one. He smooth talks his way into the top 10. That's all he does.
Yeah. Burt?
Well, I'm happy for him on one hand, sorry for him on the other hand that we disrespected him last week, but I'm looking at who he's ahead of, and now I'm just angry again. So I really don't have anything else to say. Congratulations. The promo was good, so
Damn.
8's fine.
Well, let's talk about it because Burt is angry. Number 9, once again, X Division Champion Trey Miguel. What the hell is wrong with these people disrespecting Trey Miguel like that? Spot enough, when that one time Diana got voted number 10. Now this week, Trey Miguel's at number 9. Really? I thought we learned our lesson, people. Burt, you want to rant about this one?
Yeah, well, I'm just like looking at it, and I would even reverse at the very least reverse Trey and Aldis. I would even put Eddie Edwards ahead of Aldis. So then, that would put Aldis at 10. But yeah, Trey 8 is pretty disrespectful. At the very least, he should be 5th or 6th.
So, and that's kind of how I'm feeling as well, because I really don't like the fact that Subculture is number 5, considering, they had, they had the representation down as far as clicking up and taking over the power rankings. But there's this one very important part they didn't get, and that's winning. All of them lost. So for them to go 0-2 and hit number 5 over our X Division champion Trey Miguel, especially, it's just ridiculous.
And while we're talking about it, number 5 Subculture, I have to say, Lucha do bring up a good point. They did lose all their matches, but I gotta give it to Danny Luna. She gave Jody Threat a run for her money. She came this close to ending Jody Threat's undefeated streak. And now I really enjoyed the main event with the Motor City Machine Guns and Subculture. So I kind of understand why they made the power rankings, but I do agree that they should have been a lot lower. I mean, a lot higher.
Wait a minute. Did you say that Subculture lost twice, right?
Yes, they did. Danny Luna failed to defeat Jody Threat, and
wait. Is Jody Threat higher than Subculture? She should be, right?
That shit. Say that shit, Burt. No, say not. That shit.
She's not. So that the math doesn't compute on that one. How does that make sense? How does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Jody Threat. Lucha, what did Jody Threat get? It starts with a W.
It starts with a W and ends with N because she is in the realm of getting screwed.
That doesn't make any sense. And I'll even have I'll apply a little of that logic when we get to our number 6 rank. So that's all I have to say so far.
So far, I'm not sure what's going on with this week's power rankings.
Malarkey. All hell is broken loose.
Yeah. Lucha, you need to lay down the law. I
telling you, I gotta be the dictator of authority.
Just make sure you don't hire a deputy director.
So I can't hire Burt then?
Well, except for Burt. You can hire Burt.
Oh, I was about to say, what the fuck? Then what's the point?
No one outside of Burt, though. All right. So, Burt, since you brought it up, number 6 OVE, which I'm assuming would be just Sami Callihan and Jake Christ, since they're the ones who were competed, getting a victory over DK. I honestly feel bad for Black Taurus and Crazy Steve there, because that match was pretty short.
This is why I would, not just because he's champion, I would switch Trey and OVE, because OVE's, yes, they won. The match was really nothing to me, and they got demolished by Big Con, especially after the match. So that's why that kind of match was, there was some stuff taken away from it because of that. So I would switch those two. But again, I'm not overwhelmed by them. I'm not buying them at number 6. I don't personally like that.
I like them at number 6, but I don't like them at number 6 over cats like Trey Miguel and Jody Threat and Eddie Edwards. When it comes to that element of it, when you add those extra factors, now I'm not cool with that. But if Eddie didn't get his dub, Jody didn't get her dub, and Trey Miguel wasn't the X Division champion, then this would have been all right. But the disrespect on Eddie, like Eddie beat fucking
Yuya,
who, I mean, he's not necessarily a power ranking like committee favorite, but he's always fighting in the ranks. You know what I'm saying? He gets points. He just doesn't get enough. So, maybe I guess that's a reflection on Eddie being 10. It's like he got a dub on a guy who I guess the committee doesn't take too serious.
And didn't he get taken out by Frankie Kazarian afterwards?
Yeah.
So I guess that played a lot of factors. Honestly, looking at this list, I was really surprised by the outcome on who made the power rankings, So.
Hey, yo.
Yeah?
Where the fuck is ABC?
They're not even on this list.
They're not even 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. Or too sweet. Y'all upset Lucha, man. Oh, my bad. You guys upset Lucha. Can't even see me pointing. Where's he? Where's Lucha? I don't even know where Lucha is. ABC didn't make it. The Coven didn't make it. Burt, how do you feel about Deonna Prasso coming in at number 4 and Trinity coming in at number 3? Deonna is our Knockouts world champion.
Well, I definitely would have Trinity did win. Deonna is a champion, but I kind of was more focused on the aftermath of that segment. I thought that, and I believe there'll be an honorable mention. Even though Savannah lost, I thought her, Jay Vidal, and Giselle made a huge statement. They took out, if you think about it, the number 3 and 4, the number 1 contender, and Deonna. So, and I believe Jordan ran down as well. So,
And
I'm fine with
the
yeah. So, if anything, even though Trinity did win, I would have Deonna number 3 still, just because she is a world champion and she didn't lose. You know what I mean? She didn't lose, and she is a champion. So, but also too, I think that what a big reason for where people are is just that number, who will be the number 1 spot. I just think they are just kind of controlling the whole rankings, and they're the ones that are kind of responsible for where everyone is to a degree.
Dude, this is the Motor City Machine Guns world, and everyone else just like gets mail here. That's all it is.
Well, let's get into it. Steve Macklin coming in at number 2, and the Motor City Machine Guns coming in at number 1. Bully Ray and Steve Macklin opened the show, and so did the Motor City Machine Guns and Subculture. But yet, Steve Macklin didn't compete. Motor City Machine Guns did. How do you feel about them coming in ahead of our Impact World Champion, Steve Macklin? Burt?
Steve Macklin is a world champion, so he didn't have to compete. You know what I mean? He competed, and that he obviously and got that championship some way. So, but again, I like this. I'm fine with. I would have swapped. You actually can't argue with him not being number 1. Like it's not a bad thing, but he could be number 1. But I think again, the people who were in the number 1 spot went out and took that spot. So you know what I mean. When you go out there and take it, you know what I mean. You can't argue when you come in second. Steve Macklin technically didn't have a match.
No, you're right. Yeah, he's the world champ and all. And I mean, I personally would have had him 1, and maybe Machine Guns 2 or 3. But based off the fact that the Machine Guns basically own this thing, this is their world, like I said, and the 2 for the price of 1 advantage, and then Chris Sabin still having his momentum from how Under Siege ended going into Against All Odds. I'm fine with the Machine Guns being number 1. I wouldn't have done it. I didn't do it actually, but I'm fine with how that laid out.
And speaking of the Machine Guns, I think next week's going to be really interesting because next week is Against All Odds, and Alex Shelley is scheduled to face Steve Macklin, and Chris Sabin is scheduled for a rematch, right, against Trey Miguel. So that should be really interesting because what if both Machine Guns lose, or what if Chris Sabin wins and Alex Shelley loses? I definitely want to see. I definitely want to see where they land on the power rankings next week because of that.
They'll still be top 5.
That confident? Okay, I like your confidence.
If
you said it with confidence.
All we need is one of them to win. They'll still be top 5. Even if both of them lose, I won't put them lower than 8th. I wouldn't imagine they'll be lower than 8th because the fucking Machine Gun.
Yeah. Burt?
Well, yeah. There's way too many factors why they're number 1. They're both number 1 contenders for the World and X Division title. They went and had the best match on the show, and it happened to be the main event. So again, there's no way they weren't going to be number 1.
No, yeah. I definitely do agree with you. So definitely an interesting power rankings. I think this is the power rankings where I've just been left scratching my head the most out of any power rankings.
You know, as controversial as a lot of this placement is, it also kind of makes a little bit of sense because we're in between plus specials with Under Siege being last week and freaking Against All Odds is coming up. So it's like there's a
It's
lot.
this week, isn't it? Against
Yeah.
a lot.
Friday. So there's a lot being sandwiched, you know what I'm saying? So the road honestly should clear up after this, because then we'll have like a little time to breathe going into Slammiversary, so things can kind of shape up to be in a little more of a normal form. There's not a lot of like spastic shit happening so close together, because wasn't Under Siege like 2-3 weeks after Rebellion?
No, Under Siege was Memorial Day weekend. It kicked off Memorial Day weekend.
When Rebellion like late in April?
Rebellion was April, yeah. It was like, I think mid-April. It was after WrestleMania.
Yeah, because the impact after Rebellion was when PCO was announced for Under Siege, and then he just proceeded to try to kill PCO for like 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
It was quick. It wasn't like 2 weeks, but it wasn't like a whole month where stuff could fully breathe.
So at this week's special, do Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin both have their title matches?
Yeah, they're having against that all odds. Chris Sabin challenging Trey Miguel.
I predict them not going to be high on the countdown because I don't think that either of them are going to win. So I don't think they'll be top 5.
I can't give you a confident answer at this point in time on not June 4th. This is totally on June 6th when the show airs.
Yeah.
Oh no, but I'm saying I don't think they'll be on next week's countdown. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know.
5. I mean, I don't think they'll make top 5 next week with both those shows, and I don't think that they're winning their matches.
One of the Motor City Machine Guns will leave with gold at Against All Odds.
It would probably have to be Chris Sabin because I don't think Alex Shelley's beating Steve
I would
Macklin.
not take. Trey Miguel's on a roll right now. He single-handedly tripled the stock of spray paint since he's been champion. So it's like, I don't think that they want to lose that spray paint money.
Hey, there's other belts that need spray painting.
That's true.
Where's Joe Hendry?
I think he's an afterthought at this point, and that's sad.
Oh.
He's not even an honorable mention. Didn't even get an invitation.
Oh, shit. This nigga's trying to get in my window. Get out of here. No, why didn't you use the door? Joe Hendry was trying to get in my window.
Again?
No, normally he uses the door like a normal human being. This is what happens when Joe Hendry isn't on the Power Rankings. He's at my house.
You say his name and he appears.
That's what I'm saying, so stop.
I think it's time to take that belt off of him. I'm sad to say that, but I don't think that the belt, it's just kind of being put aside. It's an afterthought. We need somebody like Kenny King or Sheldon Jean, who that segment was great on TV. Sheldon Jean pointed out he broke his face. You know what I'm saying? Again, I would put the title on Kenny King. That's just me, though. That's me.
I'd put it on Sheldon. I'd put that belt on Sheldon if I'm being honest.
I'm fine with that too. I like Kenny King, what he's doing.
All right, so I guess that's it. We've covered all our top 10 for this week. So now we're going to do our Against All Odds predictions. Lucha, start us off.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this card is brought to us by Wikipedia. Going from 8-1 here, we have Trinity and Deonna Purrazzo, our Slammiversary Knockouts title match, teaming up to take on Giselle Shaw and Savannah Evans. Burt, who you got?
Obviously, I think Trinity and Deonna, world champion, number 1 contender, are going to walk out of there just because to set up more of their match at, I believe it's Slammiversary. So, yeah, I think they win.
But Datila, can they coexist?
And that is a question.
Do you think they will?
I think so. I think they can coexist. So I also picked Deonna and Trinity.
I feel like some tension's gonna start popping off here because I'm actually going with Giselle and Savannah.
Okay.
I'm gonna be that guy.
Okay, but I feel like so who takes the pin? So Trinity takes the pin, and this is what, her 3rd, 4th match. She takes the pin.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
because it's It's gonna come down to, you know, what side is Deanna? Who is Deanna really for? Is Deanna for them or is Deanna for Deanna? Because, you know, a situation could show up to where Deanna's like, you know what, bro, I'm the world champ. Get out of here. Take this L. And then
sorry.
And then Trinity gets set up.
We also need somebody to be the heel. So Deanna kind of maybe like letting Trinity take the pin. You know what I mean? Kind of not being the one, you know, let Trinity take the fall, and then, you know, because we need somebody to be the heel. So I could see that.
Definitely. This is really a nothing match for Deanna. She doesn't really need to risk doing anything before Slammiversary. So I can see that too.
That's facts. Now, Burt, you say you want the belt to go off of Joe Hendry. Here's the next opportunity. He takes on Dirty Dango for the Digital Media Championship. Will he drop the belt?
If it was against anybody else, I would say yes, but I don't realistically see Dango winning it. And no, I'm not going to say his full name. I'm not going to call him that. I'm going to call him Dango because that's bad enough. But I think Joe Hendry wins, and then we see him drop it to Kenny King or Sheldon Jean at the next show.
Now, this is the battle of 252 pounds of pure motivation versus 257 pounds of pure filth. What side of the fence you sitting on?
I will say this. I believe in 252 pounds of pure motivation, the answer to all of life's problems. So here's my take. I think he'll retain, but I don't think it'll be a decisive finish. I think Dango is gonna live up to his name, and we might get a third match, you know. But I feel like that'll happen if they want him to drop the belt to Dango. But if not, I think it'll be a clear finish. So I'm still sticking to 252 pounds of pure motivation.
Now, bonus question: would a win from either be enough to get them on next week's Power Ranking?
If this match is on the on the pre-show, and some people don't like to acknowledge the pre-show, it may not. But I do think that if they make an impact, pun intended, on the Go Home show and Against All Odds, I think it will.
Okay.
Because you're forgetting. Isn't Joe Henry? I said his name. Isn't he supposed to wrestle Shelton Jean this Thursday?
I think so.
So if he gets the victory there and then he beats Dango, I can see him making the power ranking.
Is a possibility. All right. Next up, we got number 10 ranked Eddie Edward.
Wait, you didn't tell us who you go for.
Oh, snap. I'm sorry. I'm riding with 252 pounds of pure motivation because the longer he stays on the power rankings, the longer he stays out of my house. Yeah, that's why. No, I don't like having you around because you pop up at inappropriate. Go away. Ohio's not here. Stupid. Anyway, I'm riding with that guy.
Okay. Next match.
All right. Next match, we have number 10 ranked Edward Edwards taking on Frankie Kazarian. Who you got?
I think Kazarian wins just because I think this is going to set up maybe down the line him as one of Macklin's next challengers after the winner of the 8-4-1 match. So I think Kazarian wins. Just because like it could add to the storyline of Bully and Macklin attacking, you know, D'Amore, and Kazarian's very impact loyal, so I could see him challenging Macklin for taking disrespect to that. So I think Kazarian wins.
I also pick Kazarian. I feel like with they're showcasing him a lot. They did that three-part interview. I just feel like he's gonna get the win just for that reason. I don't think that they would have done all that stuff if he wasn't going to be the next challenger after Slammiversary.
I'm going with number 10 ranked Eddie Edwards for the simple fact that Eddie has the one thing that Frankie doesn't have, and that's a ride or die. Because if Frankie had a ride or die, if Tracy was a ride or die, where would Tracy be? Right there. Where's Lish? Right there. She gonna ride for her husband, and the Edwards clan is getting the dub. I'm going Eddie.
Okay.
Now, next up, we have unranked an unrespected ABC defending the tag titles against the Good Hands. Now, Datila, a successful title defense. What's the highest that ABC could get on the power rankings with a successful title defense next week?
A successful title defense, I say top 5. But I also think that depending on what they do on the Go Home show will factor into that. If they have a match or at least make an appearance, I think they could definitely be even lower than top 5. I think maybe top 3 or 4, depending on who would come above them. But I definitely do see them making top 5 with at least a successful title defense.
Burt, is there a snowball's chance in hell that Good Hands pick up the win here?
I don't think there's a chance they could be champions, but I think right now they're the kind of like mid-card like team that's going to take a fall. I don't think they're ready to be champions yet, and I do think if ABC wins, there's a chance they'll be top 3.
The Good Hands kind of remind me of. I'm a show my TNAIW, TNAIW, but the Good Hands kind of remind me of the Naturals, like from back in like 05.
Okay.
Like, I mean, the Naturals were dope, but they weren't like supposed to be like a star tag team. They, if anything, they were like kind of like the middle of the road cats that'll like luck up and get a title run out of nowhere, but they just luck their way through it. So I see the Good Hands as that type of team. Do they have the potential to pull this win off? Do they have a snowball's chance in hell? Yes, they do. They just won't. I'm riding with the boys.
I agree.
The only way I see the Good Hands winning is because of Brian Myers.
That's a wild card, but also, I mean, you can never. Bullet Club is always prepared. Especially when it comes to the numbers game, Bullet Club's always prepared. So there could be someone there waiting to maybe put them to sleep.
Ooh, I like that.
All right. So next up, we got Killer Kelly and Masha Slamovich. Now, was either woman? Did they get any votes this week?
I think a few, like maybe 1 or 2 points.
Okay, and do you think a win from better yet, do you think a loss from either woman would warrant a top 10 appearance? Because I mean, this is a dog collar match, so if you're gonna lose, you gotta lose this mug. So, like, say Kelly beats Masha, do y'all think there's a chance that Masha still slides in, like at least at 10?
I think so.
I'm predicting that they both make the top 10 because I think this is where they form a team. As a team after the match because they both come together over the violence.
Yeah, a lot of people seem to be on that vibe. I'm not, but I would love for it to happen. That's just not where I'm thinking it's going. I'm thinking they're just going to beat the hell out of each other. And not only that, I'm thinking that whoever comes out of this feud anywhere near alive is got to be on the other side of Slammiversary for whoever's the Knockouts champion is how I'm looking. But them lining up on like how the Bar did, that would be kind of dope. But the big question, who gets the win?
I think Masha wins.
Masha too. She's got to get Killer Kelly back for choking her out like that, man.
I mean, Kelly likes to get choked, it seems. So
okay.
Hey,
we got to keep this.
I watched the show. And watching the show, that's the type of person Kelly seems to be. So even if Kelly loses this match, which she will, she still wins because she's getting choked. Now, here's where things are going to get real controversial for the power rankings here. We got number 9, Trey Miguel versus number 1 holder, Motor City Machine Guns, Chris Sabin, for that X Division championship. I've already made my assumptions known that half of the Motor City Machine Guns is going to walk out with gold here. And I think this is where it's going to be. And I also think this is going to be what cements the Motor City Machine Guns to being right back at number 1 next week. What say committee?
I think Trey gets even like, because if you want to say there were shenanigans in the last match, I think Trey gets a decisive win this time and wins. So I think he remains champion.
This is a hard one for me because on one hand, I do want Trey Miguel to retain, but I could see if there is one title change If there's one title change, I could see it being the X Division title. But I don't know. Oh my god. Oh, who do I choose? You know what? I'm gonna pick Trey Miguel just because I feel like he's just been on the roll. And no, you know what? No, don't get mad at me, Burt. But Chris Sabin, I think they're gonna give the nine time X Division champion. There.
Oh, the controversy strikes. I love it.
Controversy does create cash.
Now, here's an interesting question, though. What if, regardless of how we leave against all odds, this begins the road to the Motor City Machine Guns implode?
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
And they feud with each other?
Can you imagine a world where we have to rank Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley separately?
Oh my god, that's scary.
It is. All right. Now, next up, we got this doozy of a match for you. This is why I love Impact so much, because they're willing to do different stuff for the sake of trying to be cool. And this match, while it sounds like a clusterfuck when you get it explained to you, but it's really dope once you get it. It's an 8-4-1 match to determine the number one contender for the World Championship. It begins as an 8-man tag match, and then that winning team competes in a fatal 4-way, and the winner of that fatal 4-way is the number one contender. The team, how it's lined up tag team style, we have Bully Ray, John Gresham, Heath, and Nick Aldis versus Mike Bailey, Moose, PCO, and Rich Swann. Now, which 4-way interests y'all the most? And does that influence your decision on who's going to win the 8-man tag portion?
It's not about which one interests me the most, because the better match to me would be Mike Bailey versus Moose versus PCO versus Rich Swann. But I think since I'm picking Bully Ray to win this match, they're going to be the winning team, because I think, obviously, if you watch the Thursday show, Bully Ray and Macklin were talking about how, I think it's a foregone conclusion it's going to be Macklin versus Bully Ray at Slammiversary. Also, too, just because I think it's going to fit into Steve Macklin's title reign, where he's just going to have one brutal match after another. I think they're all going to be, I think that's going to be his signature as why he's champion. So, I think Bully Ray wins it, so I think their team wins it.
Now, my question for you, do you agree with Burt that Bully, Gresham, Heath, and Nick Aldis are going to win the 8-man tag portion?
Oof. You got two scumbags on the opposite ends. You got Bully Ray, who is a scumbag, and Moose on the opposite team, who's also a scumbag.
I think, where's the lie?
Where's that Bobby Fish gif? I think that both men are going to do everything in their power to make sure their team wins. And I think it comes down as to who's the bigger scumbag. And like Burt said, they were talking about this on Impact. And I could possibly see Bully winning. But I don't know if that's the Slammiversary match. I don't know. I think that's more like an Impact Plus special match. I don't know if that's. I don't know if that's the match I would do for Slammiversary. I would. Does that scream main event to you? Bully Ray versus Steve Macklin Impact World Title.
I mean, Josh Alexander versus Bully Ray didn't scream main event either. That's why they put it on first.
I'd rather see that than Macklin Aldis.
Oh
no, you got it.
I was gonna say, I do think Bully's team wins, because I think that Bully would do everything in his power to make sure that his team wins. But I wouldn't pick Bully. If I would probably pick Gresham. I'd pick Jonathan Gresham. Give me Macklin versus Jonathan Gresham at Slammiversary.
Honestly,
Lucha's putting his thinking cap on.
okay, no, I'm not putting my thinking cap on. I'm putting my tinfoil hat on because I want to try to stay true to this Team Canada concept. Just for the sake of Team Canada, I'm going to say that Mike Bailey, Moose PCO, and Rich Swann win the 8-man tag, and Mike Bailey wins the Fatal 4-Way. So then we get Mike Bailey versus Steve Macklin at Slammiversary. Steve Macklin beats Mike Bailey, another Canadian. And who comes out to step to Steve Macklin? Another Canadian. The Canadian, Mr. Alexander.
I like that idea. It would give Steve Macklin another opportunity to beat a Canadian in Canada. But Josh Alexander would be healed by then?
I don't know if he'll necessarily be healed, but he can at the very least step out. You know what I'm saying? Like, all he really has to do is just step out, and then that'll be enough to, like, get Steve Macklin to, like, cower away. Wait, sorry. Burt, he can't hear us, can he?
No.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, that'll be enough for Steve to cower away. And, Josh can just sit there and just not be physical. We can keep this non-physical for a good amount of time if you play it right.
I think that if that happens, I think that would definitely set up that would be your Bound for Glory main event, assuming Josh is healed by then. Macklin versus Josh.
Yeah, because in the meantime, even if he does get healthy, you can still, like, put him in multi-man matches. You can have the whole Steve Macklin squad versus Josh Alexander squad, Team Canada. Another crazy prediction here.
And you know what's even crazier is that Josh, no disrespect to Josh, but he always, for some weird reason, his team always fell to win.
I don't blame him. That's not his fault.
All right, what's the next match?
The next match is the main event, and that is Steve Macklin versus Alex Shelley for the world title.
Steve Macklin, hands down. There's no questions asked.
Yeah, I think Macklin wins, and I think this is the quickest title match on this show, and I don't think it's a very long match. I'm not saying maybe like 14 minutes. I think they're trying to build Macklin up, and I'm not saying it's going to be at the expense of Alex Shelley, but I think they're trying to build Macklin as this, not monster, but just this badass. So I think he wins pretty quick.
So does this main event just come on second to last?
No, this main
event with this
main event.
So I know we're all unanimous on Steve Macklin. So my question is, assuming, regardless of what happens between Chris Sabin and Trey Miguel, but let's say Chris Sabin wins against Trey Miguel and Steve Macklin beats Alex Shelley. Is that enough to put Steve Macklin over the Motor City Machine Guns? Or do you think Chris Sabin winning the X belt would be enough to keep them number one?
If both Machine Guns lose, they're not top 10. If Sabin wins and Shelley loses still, they're top 5.
Oh, I think I have to agree with Burt. I think if both Machine Guns lose, I think they might still be top 10, but I don't think that they would be as high as they would be. And if Sabin wins but Shelley loses, I think they'll be top 5.
I mean, the math is the I think Steve Macklin, of course, if he beats Shelley. Sabin.
Excuse me, if he beats Shelley, he's beating Shelley.
Hey, bro. You never know. Anything can happen in the World Wrestling Federation. But yeah, Steve Macklin, either way, Steve Macklin reclaims his throne as number one. And especially it's not going to help that based off my predictions here, Trinity is going to cost Deanna some placement on the rankings next week as well.
I guess that covers it for predictions. Thank you guys all so much for watching and for the continued support. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so not only do you get notified when this video drops, but whenever TNAIW releases content, such as Lucha. Describe the content.
Such as reliving Jeff Jarrett's road to winning the 2023 Ryder Cup. Shout out to Double J Jeff Jarrett. And keep a lookout for the next one, which will be the knockouts.
And we'll see you guys next week for the fallout from Against All Odds.
Bye.
Bye.
Later.